Hello friends, are you finding difficulty in the subject data structure? This subject is important for many computer courses like engineering, diploma, bachelor and even for master's degree. And what if this subject becomes your favorite one or you find it so interesting one? Yes, if you want so, then please subscribe the channel SS Tech Phoenix, an exemplary learning community, and I, Mona Lisa Shinde, welcome you all to this channel. Friends, today we are going to discuss about the introduction of data structure and its types. So, these are some contents of our lecture. We are going to see what is data structure, what are its types, and what operations we can perform on data structure, and what is ADT. So, first of all, we are going to see what is data structure. Data structure is a representation of logical relationship existing between individual elements of data, and it is a way of organizing all data items and also their relationship to each other. Now, it is mean data structure means representation of logical relationship existing between elements of data. Now, what is mean the individual element or data item? It is a concept that an atomic unit of data with precise meaning and semantics is called as data item or individual element. If we consider any student data structure, then that data may have roll number, name, marks, such fields. So, these elements are called as data atoms or individual elements. So, what is data structure? It is the representation of logical relationship between these elements and the way of organizing all these elements. This is called as data structure. Data structure means data organization, management and different storage formats that enables efficient access and modifications. Means we can organize the data, we can manage the data and we can store it into different storage formats so that it will be efficient to access and modify. If we consider the database of student data, then it is easy or it is efficient to store the data into the tabular format because student database has roll number, name, marks, such fields, and it is easy to carry the data into the tabular format. If we consider the family hierarchy of our family, then it will be easy to represent the hierarchy into the tree format. So these are different storage formats which are used for storing the data. So data structure can be called as organized data plus allowed operations on that data. They both combinedly form a data structure. Next is, this is the classical representation of data structure, types of data structures. Data structure is divided into main two types, primitive and non-primitive. That is also called as built-in and user-defined data types. Built-in are further divided into integer, character, float, and user-defined or non-primitive are divided into array, list, files. There are lists are further divided into linear and non-linear linked list, and linear linked list are divided into stack and queues and non-linear in trees and graph. We are going to see all these types into detail. See, look at the first type of data structure, that is primitive data structure. The data structures that are atomic or indivisible are called as primitive or inbuilt data structure. Inbuilt, that are provided by the system itself. That's why they are also called as built-in or inbuilt data structures. Integer, we know that all the numbers which are represented in integral form without fraction, that are called as integer numbers, all positive, negative including 0. Characters, These are the numbers or these are the symbols and A to Z alphabets with big and small letters. Float, floating point number means the numbers which are represented with the floating point that are called as float numbers. They include positive and negative. What are the pointers? They are used to store the addresses and represented as a asterisk. Now, pointers are used to store the addresses of the variable. So, these all are the primitive data structures. Next is non-primitive data structures. The data structures that are not atomic are called as non-primitive or composite or user-defined data structures. Not atomic means they are formed with combination, that is called as composite data structures. So array is the first example of such data structures. See, this is an array of characters having 4 elements and user can define this array, its size and all. So this is an user defined non-primitive and composite data structure. It is not provided by the system, so it is not an built-in data structure. Next is stack. See, this is the stack of symbols plus hash, asterisk, plus. These are the symbols which are inserted into the stack from this top end and they are inserted one above the other. And this is an composite data structure. Next, again, another example is tree. It is also a composite data structure. This is called as root of a tree, that is A. It has B element at its left side and has C element at its right side. So, tree is also called as a composite data structure because it is again a user defined data structure. Next example is files, and files can be again a composite data structure. Next is linear and non-linear data structures. In linear data structures, the data items are arranged in linear sequence. Now, this linear sequence refers to the memory. Data items of that data structures are stored into the memory linearly, sequentially, just like array. We know that if we consider any array, then consider this is the array of integers. Now, if we store one element at the place, at the address 1000, then next element must be at 1002. Since this is an integer array, one element will require 2 bytes of data, 2 bytes of memory. So, next will be at 2002, 1002, next at 1004, 1006, like that. Means linear data structures are arranged sequentially, continuously into the memory. Next is stack. Stack is just like same as array. These elements are stored continuously into the memory locations and see, these are the symbols, means these are the characters. So they will require 1 byte of data, 1 byte of memory, 1000, 1001. These are the addresses of respective data items. In case of these linear data items, if we know the address of first element, then we can easily calculate the address of any element present into the database. Next is queue. Again, this is just like array and they are sequentially stored into the memory. So, 10, 20, 30. These three are the data elements. Consider 10 is present at the 1000 memory address location. Next 20 will be at the 1002 since it is integer data structure. In queue, there are two ends. This is called as a add end and this is at delete end. Means when we want to delete the data item, then it will be deleted from this end. We are going to see all these data structures in detail in further videos. Next is non-linear data structure. In non-linear data structure, data items are not in sequence, means they are not stored sequentially into the memory locations, into the memory locations. That is, consider linked list. In case of linked list, when we store any data element, consider 10 is one data element. If it is stored at the address 1000, then next element may not be at the continuous location of this. So 20 is stored at 3050. And how we are going to access these data items? First, this address will be stored separately, address of 10, and then this 10 will hold the address of next element, and this will hold address of next element, like that. So if we get the address of first, then one element will get address of its next, and next element will get the address of its next element. In this way, we can access all the all the data elements, although they are not stored sequentially into the system. So next example is tree. Tree is also not stored sequentially into the memory location. We can see 50 is one data element which is stored at location 1000, while 25 is stored at 5036, whereas 75 is stored at 2020 memory location. They are not stored sequentially into the memory. So these data items are called as non-linear data items. Next are homogeneous data items. This is about the data type. Means in homogeneous data items, all the elements are of same type. We can say of same data type. Just like array, we know that if we consider any array, then it must be of same data type. Means consider this is an array of characters, then this array can hold only characters into it. That is A, B, C, D, these all are the characters. If we consider array of integers, then that array can hold only integer data items into it. So all the data items have same data type. They are of same type. That is called as homogeneous data structures. Non-homogeneous data structures are the data structures where elements may be of different data types. They can hold different data types. Consider structure. Now, this data structure has, consider this is an example, roll number, name, and total marks. This field is of integer data type. Second field is of character data type, while third one is again an integer data type. Means all these data elements are of different data types. Such type of data structure is called as non-homogeneous data structure. Records are again another example of non-homogeneous data structures. Next is static data structures and dynamic data structures. Static data structures are those whose sizes and associated memory locations are fixed at compile time. Compile time means before execution. That data structures need to represent the size and associated memory location fixed before the execution. That is, at compile time they need to fix all this. See, example is array. Whenever we use array, we generally represent this array like this. Character array, name is the array name, and the size which is required for that array. This is an integer array which has 5 size, means it can store 5 elements. We cannot change the size at runtime or at execution time. The size is fixed at the compile time. Dynamic data structures are the structures that those which expand or shrink depending upon the program need and its execution. Also, their associated memory locations changes. This is important thing that they can expand or shrink depending upon the program need. Means they can expand and shrink at the execution time. There is no need to write or fix the size and associated memory locations at compile time. They can change at execution time. Such type of data structures are called as dynamic data structures. As they can change at execution time, their memory locations may change according to the execution. Consider linked list data structure. It is created with pointers. Then with the help of pointers, linked list is created in this format. First of all, you should know whenever we create any linked list, it has a structure called as node. This is a node. It has two parts. First part holds data and second part holds link of next data item, means address of the next data item. And for creating any linked list, we need to create the structure of node, which is created in this manner. See, this is the structure of node where there are two fields, data and next, means it is the link to the next data item. So data and link of the next data item, that is the structure of node. And when we create any variable, when we create new node, then it is created dynamically into the memory. Means it can create, means it can expand or shrink. Whenever we add atom, that linked list will expand. And whenever we will delete that atom, that nodes will be deleted. Means it can shrink depending on the program need and its execution. As this memory locations changes dynamically, it is called as dynamic data structure. Next up, ephemeral data structure and persistent data structure. This ephemeral data structures is the one for which only one version is available at a time. After an update operation, the structure remains as it is existed before an update and the changes are destructive. Now, when we consider any data structure and we perform any update operation, then in ephemeral data structure, that updated data structure is always destroyed and only the older version of that is kept into the system. This, see, now consider this is the version, first old version, and this is a new version. We have performed some operations on this old version, the new version is created, but into the system they will keep only the old version and will discard this new version. Now now we can see the example, cache memory and registers, etc. Now we know that cache memory locations and registers are used to store only temporary data into the memory. Means whenever we want to store the data permanently, it is never stored in such type of things. That is, cache will never hold the permanent data. It will always hold the temporary, which can be destroyed after updations. And only the older versions can be stored into the database. So these type of data structures are called as ephemeral data structures, which holds only temporary data. Opposite to that, there is a persistent data structure where that one, it is the one where multiple versions are simultaneously accessible. Means it creates multiple versions and that all are simultaneously accessible. It always preserves the previous version of itself when it is modified. Whenever we perform any modification onto the data structure, then it creates two versions, previous and new version. And both the versions are kept into the system. See this? Both the versions are kept. Now, older version 1, this is first version. Then they have created some update operations. Then new version 2 and next is new version 3. All these versions are kept into the system. That is called as persistent data structure. Now, each modification creates new version and after an update, both old and new versions can be used into the system. They both are simultaneously accessible. That is called as persistent data structure. There are some types of persistent data structures according to the access allowed it to them. That is, see, first is there are some types of persistent data structures: partial persistent, fully persistent, and confluent or functional persistent. In this data structure, all versions can be accessed only, but only newest version can be modified. In fully persistent, every version can be both accessed and modified. Means in persistent database data structures, where it is called as partially persistent only if newest version can be modified but older are only accessed. There are some types of persistent data structures where all the versions are kept into the system. Now, partially persistent, fully persistent, and confluent or functional persistent. These are the three types according to the access permission and modifications. Modifications allowed. Say, in this data structure, all versions can be accessed, but only the newest version can be modified. All versions can be accessed, but only newest version is allowed it to modify the data structure. That is called as partially persistent. Whereas in fully persistent, it is a data structure where every version can be accessed as well as used to modify. Means we can access and modify all the versions of data structure, all the versions. That is called as fully persistent data structure. In case of confluent or functional data persistent data structure, if there is a merge operation that can create a new version from two previous versions, the data structure is called as confluent or functional persistent data structure. When we merge two existing versions and create new one, then that data structure is called as confluent or functional persistent data structure. There are some operations which we can perform on data structure. These are some operations which are performed on data structure. First we will see and data structure. See, this is an array of integer numbers. If we consider create operation, it means creating a data structure, means creating an array. Then add operation means it is used to add the element into the data. Delete means used to delete an element from the data. Search, search means it is used to search element into the data. Sorting, it is called as arrangement of elements of data structure in ascending or descending order. When we arrange the elements of these data structure in some order, specific order, ascending or descending, then it is called as sort operation or sorting operation. If we arrange these data items into some order, then that operation will be called as sort. Traverse. Traverse means visiting each element of data at once, means only at one time. Whenever we want to display the data items, consider we want to display the data items of this array, then what we will do? We will only visit all the data items one by one and only at once. That is called as traversal of a data structure. What is in the update? When we update data structure means when we modify it, it is called as update operation on the data structure. Merging means merging of two elements. When we merge two data structures, that operation is called as merge operation. When we merge two arrays, then that operation will be called as a merge operation. There is a concept called as ADT, abstract data type. Now, what is ADT? It is a type of data, means it is a data type whose behavior is defined only by two things, that is set of values or data items and set of operations allowed on that data item. ADT defines only these two things. It is called abstract because it gives an implementation independent view. Independent means it does not provide us implementation details. That's why it is called as abstract. Implementation details means there is no information about the algorithms used, how the operations are performed on that database, that all the details will be hidden. That is called as abstract. And abstraction, we can see abstraction is a process of providing only the essentials and hiding the details. The same thing, that is hiding the details means about the organization and all, that is called as details. It only mentions what operations are to be performed but not how. Means ADT mentions what operations are performed, but it does not mention how that operations are going to be performed. It does not specify how data will be organized in the memory and what algorithms will be used for implementation. ADT is a mathematical model of data objects and functions that operate on that data object. So, we can say it is a mathematical model of that data object and their functions that operate on that data object. We can say ADT describes mainly two things. That is, it describes the way components are related to each other, and second, it describes the operations that can be implemented on the data type or on that data element. We can see stack as an abstract data type. See, this is the definition of stack, that is, it is a collection of objects inserted and removed according to the last in, first out principle. Now, what is meant by last in, first out? When we consider any stack, then the first element which is inserted into the stack will go to the bottom of the stack, that is 10. Second will be the 20 above the 10, and third will be the 30 above all. Now, what is meant by last in, first out? When we insert last element into the stack and we want to delete the element, then that lastly inserted element will be first deleted from the stack. That is last in, first out. The element which is inserted lastly will be the element which is removed or deleted firstly. That's why it is called as last in, first out. So on stack, we can perform these operations. Push, this is an operation called addition, means add a new element into the stack. In pop, we can delete the element from the stack. Display, to display the elements of the stack. Top, now top always shows the top element of the stack. Wherever it is, it shows the top element of the stack. IsEmpty is the function or operation which checks whether the stack is empty or not, and isFull is the operation which checks whether the stack is full or not. These two operations are done mainly while addition and deletion. We can see how these are used in next our videos. So friends, thank you for watching the video and please subscribe the channel for more such videos. Thank you.